one.
Hey guys, you're with David and Eric Valentino live at Eagle Point Fishing Camp, and we wanted to come live today with a show to you that we're going to start to have
for the average angler, for any angler on Galveston Bay.
And this is our first time trying this. We've been asked many times to do something like this, and David and I said, why not?
Even though we've been extremely busy this summer, working anywhere from 12 to 14-hour days, I've been fishing about every day and then helping run Eagle Point Fishing Camp with Eric, and it's been tough, but we decided today's the day to give a little introduction about the show and to get you all excited about watching it.
Today's the day after David got up at 1 o'clock.
Every day.
And he's going to be up at 1 o'clock again tomorrow, and I was able to sleep in a little bit today. I slept till 6 o'clock this morning, and we're going to be here till probably 6 or 7 tonight. And as David said, it's been a long summer, and we got a whole, another almost month of the summer.
2 months.
But we're going to do our best to bring some good content for a good show, and we just wanted to tell you a little bit about ourselves first. Again, I'm Eric Valentino. I would be, in this case, let's see, my great-grandfather, my dad. I'm fourth generation, so my great-grandfather was down here in San Leon shrimping. My grandfather grew up shrimping down here. My dad, he shrimped with my great-grandfather and my grandfather. And then my dad has owned shrimp boats my entire life. And I was asked from the age of 4 and told to go shrimping. So I grew up on a commercial shrimp boat shrimping, and I also grew up working here. And we grew up most of the time here in San Leon. And then I went to Clear Lake High School myself and graduated from Clear Lake High School, and then went off to school. I went to Louisiana State University. Had a great 5 years in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And when I came back home, I went into the boat business. I sold boats for 5 years, and then I sold cars after that for 10, knowing that I would always come back to Eagle Point at some point.
Well, that's great, Eric. My list is not that long.
Hey! That's the story.
I came to Eagle Point in 1987. I started a full-time guide service out of here in 1990 with the help of Johnny Valentino. And I left for a little bit after Hurricane Ike, and then I returned 3 years ago to help Eric manage Eagle Point and return to fishing full-time. And it's been a great summer. I've been fishing every day, and fishing's been good. And outlook continues to look good. And looking forward to doing the show, producing the show, helping our anglers ask questions. As we progress into the show, we'll be able to get emails with questions, and we'll hope to answer your questions about anything and everything Galveston Bay and fishing, Galveston Bay fishing has to offer.
And to add some more to that, we don't know exactly the direction the show will take. We're going to let the viewers and the listeners have a big impact on that. We have an idea of what a lot of people want, but we welcome a lot more ideas. So if you catch us on Facebook, or if you're on my Instagram, or if you go to YouTube and you have any comments on what you'd like to hear from myself, from David, or that's Captain David, excuse me.
David.
and or from people that we're close with and we have a relationship with, and basically the resources that we have. As you know, I've been down here a long time. Like I said, we know lots of people in and around the boating and fishing business, and we would like to tap into that and bring some people and some content to you that you're interested in. And we don't have all the answers, and we're very readily will admit that we do not have all the answers. We have a lot of people around us that do have answers, and we can tap into that. Is that fair enough, David?
That's fair enough.
So we want to know what you want us to talk about above and beyond what we've already been asked about. We, at Eagle Point Fishing Camp, we have thousands of customers a year that come through here, and our phone line rings a lot.
Every 10 minutes.
And we get a lot of questions, and so we just want to know what everyone wants to learn about.
Yeah.
Is that fair enough?
That's fair enough.
All right, so let's talk about the weekend. What can people expect?
Well, this week we've probably been plagued with the little low tides and a southwest wind. Southwest wind for parts of the bay in Galveston is not good, but for the shorelines here in the area around Eagle Point, actually it kind of plays into our favor because the water holds and it's fishable on our side of the bay. As you can tell, a west or a southwest wind, this whole area from Seabrook, Red Bluff, to Kemah, to Eagle Point, back down to April Fool Point, and then the Dollar and the base of the Texas City Dike. All that is protected right in here from this kind of wind. So the fish that I've been catching, I've been concentrating this effort right here. And mostly I'm catching redfish, and I've been catching redfish about every day that I go.
And like David was saying, a southwest wind is going to blow like this. So if you're trying to fish over here in this open body of water of Trinity or East Bay, it's going to be muddied up, and it's going to be very difficult to catch any speckled trout. It doesn't mean it can't be done, but it's very difficult. Catching speckled trout is not easy. And David and I have had the conversation with many anglers saying that they're struggling on catching trout this year. It's been tough catching trout, and there are a lot of reasons why it could be tough right now. What we believe, and we base that on what a lot of people with a lot of experience have told us as well, is the conditions have never set in yet this year. And we're waiting for a southeast, southeast, east-southeast wind to settle in. It just hasn't done it yet. It's been a variable wind since I can remember.
Yeah. This year it's been east, southeast, and the fishing gets red hot, and then it turns around and blows west, southwest, and then it will turn back around and blows east, southeast.
So what is biting, David? Let's talk about what is biting. Let's don't talk about what's not biting. What is biting?
There's trout being caught. Of course, there's trout caught every day. Lots of redfish. The red fishing has been off the charts, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's been as good as a redfish year as I've seen in a long time. You catch drum, you catch sheephead. Of course, you catch gaff top. If you want to go out there and catch you some gaff top.
I've had reports of whiting.
Whiting have shown up. Some sand trout have started showing up too.
Okay.
So everything's on, everything's clicking. It's just you have to get to an area that you're going to fish, stay in that area and fish it. And you can catch them. If you find yourself running all around the bay looking, you're going to spend a lot of more time looking than you are catching.
One of the most difficult things right now is running around the bay looking for just speckled trout. That's very tough right now. And again, the guys that I've talked to that I respect immensely and their trout catching ability, this sort of weather situation, the weather pattern we've been on, the people I know that have caught a lot of trout, these are the times that they spend an enormous amount of time on a daily basis looking for them.
Lots of hours
and finding them. It could be an all-day affair, and they may catch them. And the people I'm talking about do catch them. A Sam Barcelona, for example.
Right.
Sam Barcelona from Barcelona Sporting Goods, he basically always would catch fish. But days like today, he would have been all over the bay. We would have finally found him, most likely.
But he would put 60 miles on the boat.
At least. So the bottom fishing out in the middle, what a lot of people refer to as the gas wells, the rigs, A-lease, that is turning on. So there's a great opportunity to take live shrimp, live croaker, or dead shrimp, cut bait on the bottom. You come out here past Redfish Island, A-lease, and you fish on the bottom, and you're going to have a buffet of different sorts of fish.
Black drum, sheephead, sand trout,
whiting,
redfish.
croaker.
You may even on dead shrimp, you'll probably end up catching 2 or 3 speckled trout.
That's right. last tip on the fishing for this weekend, and especially while we have this southwest wind. I was talking to one of my fishing idols, Sam Barcelona, and he just kept saying, deep, son, deep. You got to be deep. If you're fishing with live shrimp, you have to be deep. And we're talking, if you're in a body of water, say 10, 12 feet deep, you need to have your cork set at 6, 7 feet deep.
Yeah.
And you have to find those trout deep. Would you agree, David?
That would be true. That would be definitely true. Seems like the water temperature's warmed up a lot, especially with the dry, hot air that's flowing across the water. So it makes a difference in the water temperature. And those fish get deep. The bait goes deep. Shrimp go deep. They bury up in the mud, and the southwest wind makes it a little more difficult for the shrimpers to work and catch them.
Let's talk about the bait real quick. And the bait situation at the bait camps that we know of is not great. The shrimp, when the southwest wind kicks up, and like David said, you have low tides, and in many cases you don't have a lot of tide movement. The shrimp tend to bury down. In fact, it's an old cliche that the shrimp disappear, and then what shrimp they do catch, when they bring them up from the deeper water, they die because the water is so hot. So we do have live shrimp here. We do know of some other bait camps with some live shrimp, but it's not an abundant supply. And then we do have some live croakers, and on Galveston Bay Complex, we do know of other bait camps with live croakers as well. But again, not a plethora, not a huge abundance of live shrimp right now. And that's been that way since they changed the shrimping regulations years ago. This time of year, you have this situation with catching live shrimp.
And what about our shrimp supply?
Our shrimp supply for tomorrow morning is good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's good. We're going to open up with a nice supply, and we have a nice supply of live croakers.
What time?
We're going to have our bait boat out, and he normally will come back in. If by chance we run out, he'll be back in normally around noon, and we're going to open tomorrow morning at 4:45.
That's correct.
All right. Any parting words?
Well, this is our first time doing something like this.
It is.
And we've been hesitant to do something like this because
we're so busy.
No.
Well, that has a lot to do with it.
Yes.
No, that's
it does, but that's not the
that has something to do with it. But I can speak for myself. I have shied away from putting myself in a position like this to, I guess,
bashfulness?
No, you come off like maybe a know-it-all, and I don't want to come off like that. I don't want to come off like a know-it-all. I have learned a lot. I do know a lot about Galveston Bay, and people have asked us to share some of that. And with some knowledge I have, my father, my uncles, and Captain David Dillman, Captain Wendy Marshall, and again, an abundance of people that we're very close with. I just felt like, and David agreed, and my wife, we agreed that it was time to share some of this knowledge because people have asked for it.
Plus, you have thousands of anglers coming through here.
We do every day.
Yeah. I mean, it's packed. You hear firsthand from anglers what their experience is like on the water.
We do, and David and I have noticed a trend, and more than David and I, Captain Wendy and my father, a bunch of people that have fished a lot over the years. We've noticed that it's tougher for people to fish on a regular basis. They have a lot going on in their life. As a whole, we believe that the anglers have not as much experience and knowledge as anglers back in the 70s and 80s. It's tougher for them to get the experience. And so we want to offer some of that to help bridge the gap.
That's true. Very much so.
And it's tough to catch fish on Galveston Bay, or any bay for that matter, when you don't get a chance to go enough.
And I think the average angler just wants to go out with the family and catch fish, needs a show like this. I think there's a need for it. I don't think I mean, too much emphasis is put on speckled trout, and not just fishing itself. The art of saltwater fishing has materialized into kind of like a big business, kind of like the bass type fishing.
Yes.
And I think it needs to go. I think people need to get back to the roots of what saltwater fishing was. It was such a family-oriented sport. Am I correct?
I don't even like to call it a sport, because if it was a sport, Michael Jordan would be the best fisherman there ever was.
Well, we know he's not.
Is it? I mean, it's a skill you learn.
It's a craft.
It's a craft. It's a skill. And look, you can shoot all the free throws. You can practice your jumping for years. And if you weren't born to jump, they're just so high you're going to jump. But fishing, the more you go,
The better off you are.
you get better. The more you go, the luckier you get. The more you go, you learn tendencies, and it becomes instinctive. And again, it's just something we see that it's so hard to do that when you've got so many other things going on in your life. There's so many different things pulling at you, and we know that. So David and I and Captain Wendy, we said, man, it's just a shame that people cannot get the knowledge quick enough, and at times you see people get really frustrated and actually talk about getting rid of their boat.
They do. They buy it, and the next year they never use it, and they sell it.
And one other thing, when people around San Leon, they talk about the legendary anglers, and these anglers are legendary. The Harvey Bacons, the Ford Watleys, the Barcelonas, the Nathan Yorks. I mean, it goes on and on, right? But these legendary anglers were legendary because they did something that was so hard. See, it was never easy.
Right.
It was never easy. It's always been hard to catch speckled trout.
That's true.
And when they talk about these anglers, these legends, they say, God, those guys could catch the trout. And they could catch them often. And so we want to share some stories, share some information that might be helpful. And any parting words after that, David?
Nah, I think that was...
This was supposed to be 5 minutes.
I know, but we went way longer than 5 minutes. And really the shows we're going to produce are only supposed to be 30 minutes. But we're going to go way longer than 30 minutes. But anyway, no, I think it's good. I think everything's out there. I think you all need to stay tuned. Keep an eye on our Facebook Live and
Instagram.
And we'll give updates on when the next show would be. And we're going to try to get everything lined up to where we have it a weekly event on a certain day. And everybody should be able to sit back and drink a beer and watch us on Facebook.
Beverage of your choice.
We're
looking at Fridays, though.
We are looking at Fridays.
We did today a Friday. We want to do it on Fridays. We hope that we don't have any problems with our scheduling here at Eagle Point. David and I and Captain Wendy, we've been here, I believe, every single Friday since...
Moby Dick was a minnow?
Well, every single Friday, I think, since, March or April?
Probably March.
So,
yeah.
We'll be here. We hope to have the show every Friday. And, if there's going to be a change, we're going to let you know. And anything else, honey? Since you have all the experience in doing something like this.
No, you mentioned to watch Facebook. Give everybody the Instagram handle. At Eagle Point Fishing Camp is your Instagram handle. So
Yes.
follow on Instagram. And then your website is eaglepointfishingcamp.com. David, your website is?
GalvestonBayCharterFishing.com.
Fantastic. So you can book a trip with David, because then you'll go out and hopefully have a better experience, right?
That's true.
That's true. Very much so.
We do have one humorous story to leave you with.
We're not finished yet.
We had a guy 2 Saturdays ago. You were out fishing, and he came into the bait camp, and he said that his engine was overheating. And
On his truck?
no, on his boat.
Oh.
On his boat motor. I believe I told you this. But
don't think you
in any way, we have a few people that we think very highly of. They're good friends of Eagle Point, and they
You
come
sent
down.
Ray down there.
No.
Oh, that's
But Bob was here. Bob Ware.
Oh, okay.
And Bob Ware is a
Sounds
good
good.
friend of ours. Great guy, great family man. And Bob was down here, and he was having his traditional Saturday morning coffee.
Did he bring
Aw,
donuts?
we
Not
love
Sunday,
Bob.
but Saturday. But he did not bring donuts.
No donuts.
What?
No. So,
Like the one time he's
in
never
any
brought us
event,
donuts.
Bob's helped out many of our customers. He has a very small battery pack that he'll use, and he's helped out, I'd say, at least 5 customers. And Bob went down to just look at it, and the guys were upset about their boat. And when Bob went out there, before the guys pulled the boat out of the water and all that, he looked down, and the motor still had the flush,
The flush.
the earmuffs on
The
there.
earmuffs over the. Well, no wonder it overheated.
Yeah, but that was a pretty good one.
He didn't go to Don't Be a Rookie seminar, did he?
He did not go to the Don't Be a Rookie seminar.
Well, folks, that's it for the day.
See you this weekend.
And we'll see you this weekend.
Make sure to take your earmuffs off.
Yeah, take your earmuffs off. Hey, look.
Especially if you're talking to your wife. Take your earmuffs off.
If you're on the water, bring water. Drink plenty of water, guys. It's hot. It gets hot quick. I can promise you.
And make sure to put your plug in your
Stay
boat.
hydrated.
Later.
Later, guys.
Thank you.